Well, then let's just agree to disagree.
Okay, that's fine.
But
he's
you're talking about something you've not watched,
and you're convinced by him because he spoke to you and heard him spoke for an hour and a half.
I'm not.
Cloud 9000.
What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Everything 9000 podcast.
What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Everything 9000 podcast. How you doing, Aman?
I'm alright, mate. How are you?
Why did it take me so long to say that intro?
Yeah, because you didn't normally say it. But first things first, Tuchel has been appointed.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
That's huge, man. I'm really excited about it.
Do you know what? When I first saw it, I wasn't excited. But when I actually deeped it and thought about it, it's actually a really good signing.
Amazing signing. I've basically been listening to the radio all day today on this, right, on TalkSport, and there's a lot of people absolutely up in arms about it, mate.
That's what's annoying me, right? Jamie Carragher came out and says it doesn't feel right to have a foreign coach.
Have you seen the video that they put out, Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville? They were like, calling, this is embarrassing. I looked at that video and I cringed so much.
But do you think it's crazy? I would say they're the two biggest sports pundits, right? Like, who's bigger? Like, yeah, in ITV, and you got Gary Lineker on BBC, and you got Roy Keane, who's quite big. But really, Gary Neville and Jamie Redknapp,
they're up there.
Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, they're up there.
I would say they are the two biggest.
Right, yeah.
And for them to have the negative view or push the negative agenda that, we've got a foreign coach, he shouldn't be in charge.
Like, because I would, politically, if you look at it from a political perspective, as to Gary Neville saying that stuff is really out of character for him. Really out of character for him. Unless, I don't know what his real character is at this point in that case, but then it's really out of character for him to say that it's embarrassing that we've got a German coach for England football team. When really, if you look at it, I get the argument. You know what? You need English managers and stuff managing.
Why do you need English managers?
No, I get the argument, but what manager is there that you think is going to win you something?
Explain the argument. Why? Explain the argument, because why do you?
No, I personally don't believe that. Right.
So then, how do you get the argument?
No, I don't get the argument. Let's just say, okay, yeah, but okay, if I was to play devil's advocate in this instance, okay, yeah, England manager should be English, in the sense that you don't really get players who are not English play. You can't get a random Brazilian to come and play for you in an England team. You have to qualify through nationality, right? That doesn't necessarily mean your ethnic background. You could be ethnically, you could be not English, but nationality-wise, your nationality, your passport.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah. That's
so. In that sense, I get that argument in the sense that.
But what's that got to do with the manager having to be English?
Yeah, so you could. I'm just saying you could apply a similar sort of outlook on a manager post, because why doesn't a manager have to be English? Tell me.
That's exactly why I'm telling you.
No. So why can't players not be English then? For example, why can't we have a Brazilian in the team?
Amrit, I think it's going down a bit of a stupid.
No. So that's what I mean. So I think I can see that there is some very tiny little substance to the argument that it'd be ideal if it's an English manager managing an England team, just like it is ideal that it's a Spanish manager managing Spain, a German manager.
So you're coming from the viewpoint that the whole of the country's resources should be from that country. Is that what you're trying to say?
Essentially, more or less, yes. But I don't subscribe to the argument.
I think the people making the argument that an English team should have an English manager aren't even making that argument. Yeah. They're not saying that
it's all the resources it's more the fact that he's German.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah. No, it's not even that he's German. It's that people just think that they want a manager that can speak the language clearly. Not that Thomas Tuchel can't, by the way. But I think that's often the biggest point. And also that, should it come to a final, would a non-Englishman really care as much as an Englishman who would, quote unquote, bleed for the country? That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, okay, I get that point as well, right? Okay, yeah. And I think it's valid to an extent. It's like, Gautam Gambhir saying a few years back, saying that, the Indian coach should be Indian. And they get the emotions, the emotions that they feel can't be replicated by somebody else. But then I don't see that argument, because the last time India won won a trophy was under a foreign coach.
True.
So since we've had an Indian coach, we've not won a trophy. So what does that tell you?
Didn't we just win one?
Oh, well, sorry, the T20, with the exception of the T20, but we were in the final for a couple of them that we lost with an Indian coach.
Yeah.
So, that argument sort of falters there, I think. I think what you really got to do is understand it in the context of that this is a professional. Thomas Tuchel is a professional. You can't doubt his passion and his like willingness to win and his his willpower to win the final just because he's not English if he's managing England.
And what he's achieved in knockout competitions.
Exactly.
Like, he's very good in knockouts.
He is.
He won a Champions League with a subpar Chelsea team.
Exactly.
Like, that forward line, what was it? Havertz, Mount, and whoever the fuck else it was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Dead, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And he won a Champions League with them. He took PSG to a Champions League final.
Yeah, very close to winning it.
Only lost to a Bayern team that were banging it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think let's not get into the pedantics of like, as in like he was so close here, but he did so well there. He's a top manager, I think.
He's probably... Well, do you know what? There was some rumblings about Guardiola being the manager. I actually think that would have been the perfect appointment.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I think Guardiola is untested in these waters.
Yeah, but do you know what it is? I think it's just a mentality thing more than anything else.
It's a mentality thing, I get that. But I think Guardiola, I don't think he's technically as good. I don't think he's technically the best manager.
You don't need technique. This is what I'm saying.
No, but
all of those players are technical. You think we've got great tactics and techniques under Gareth Southgate? It's not about that. They managed to get a final. But 2 times, right?
Yeah, I get that.
The point is, England, their biggest weakness is they have a mental block.
Yeah.
How do you forego a mental block? You just get the biggest mental uplift ever. We've got the best coach to have ever coached a game. We're going to win. What's stopping that?
Yeah, I still think, I personally, from my viewpoint, I do not think that Pep would have been the best appointment. I would have rather had a Klopp than a Pep managing England, because Pep is just untested in waters where a team is secondary to win. Pep has managed...
Why are they secondary?
I think they are.
They're the team that's reached the final twice?
Yeah, they're the team that reached the final twice, but if you look at the mental block they have...
Exactly, that's a mental block?
No, exactly, but then that's what I'm saying, so they're secondary to win.
I think apart from France in 2018, who had a stacked squad, I don't think you look at any team out there today and say that squad is superior to England.
In that World Cup, you know.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you actually listen to my point, if you let me finish, what I'm saying is today, there is no squad that is out and out superior to England's.
Yeah, I get that argument.
So it's not a secondary team?
I still think Pep would have struggled.
I think there's an abundance of I think you'd be a fool to question Pep. I think you'd be a fool to question Pep.
No, I get that argument too. I get that argument.
Yeah.
But I think Tuchel is an exciting... I've not been excited... I've probably not... The only time I've watched England since 2012 is probably the World Cups and then possibly a few games of the Euros. But generally...
breaks just kill you, don't they?
Yeah. So I've not watched England since 2012 in that sense. So I'm genuinely, for the first time, excited to watch England again. Come round.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think
just because of Tuchel?
Yeah.
Nah,
I think Tuchel is a breath of fresh air. There is the argument as well that, the FA for the last few years have been promoting and then coaching, essentially bringing up coaches. Like, that they've got this whole program going on.
Yeah.
But to be honest, what has it produced? Mediocre manager. Say what you will, Gareth Southgate was below average, I think. If he was average at best.
He was average at best.
Lee Carsley, he seems to be taking a bit more risk and trying to play, with a bit of an experiment, but obviously backfired against Greece. And there was one argument that...
I don't even know who Lee Carsley is.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't get the job just because you don't know who he is. I think it kind of comes down to ability and how good you are.
I think we're at a point with England. I think I agree with that argument. Just because someone's not good or unknown, Pep Guardiola was unknown before he broke through. But I think England is so frustrated, so tired of getting to a certain point and not getting over the line. We don't want to invest in someone for a few tournaments. We just want the next one.
You need that immediate success, right? Because right now, squad is basically, as you said, one of the best in the world right now.
There's talent, man.
Where you've come so close, maybe you just need that push from a high-profile manager.
It's just, and like the stupid decisions that Southgate made of,
there's too many to remember. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, not playing Foden or not playing Rashford or doing this.
Not even not playing certain players, but taking players off or bringing on the wrong player at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And just basically going with the back fucking 10 when you've got about 20 fucking best players in the world in attacking position.
Yeah, it's a completely different mindset.
But you've got back 5 and then you've got 2 further sitting midfielders. You're basically playing with the fucking back 7.
Trent in right mid.
You're basically playing with a back 7 against and then you've just got 2 or 3 players trying to fucking get the ball off the field, right?
But it is also stupid things like playing Trent in midfield.
I don't think playing Trent in midfield is stupid, like, per se.
I think it is because he's not a midfielder.
No, he's not a midfielder, but he's given some.
And you don't try that in a national World Cup tournament.
He wasn't terrible in that.
Well, it was a failed experiment because it didn't happen after the first 3 games.
Okay, okay. Trent's played in midfield for us, by the way, a few games, and it seems to work.
Yeah, I think a well-oiled Liverpool that's a well-performing team is easier to like hide things like that. But yeah. Who's been the right back when Trent's been in midfield?
To be honest, I think one of the defenders is pushed to the right and Trent just comes into the middle. Or on one occasion, we've only had on I think 1 or 2 occasions where Conor Bradley's come on and Trent's still playing, or maybe Joe Gomez moves if he's playing. So it just depends whoever's playing. And I think a lot of the times, like Fabinho used to fill in at right back when he was there as well.
That was ages ago, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because Trent used to be like basically just go up a bit.
As always, we're going to be covering a range of topics today. Obviously, just check out the description to head to your to your desired topic. But Joker 2, man.
Who?
Joker 2.
Joker 2. I think it said who's Joker 2.
Nah, Joker 2. What a disappointment. I know you've not seen the movie
yet. Yeah. Joker 2. Okay, yeah. So not Joker 2. I was thinking, who the fuck's Joker 2?
That's my Brummy accent getting in the way. A bit of Joker. But yeah, Joker 2. How Queen Phoenix. Lady Gaga.
Who?
How Queen. Whacking Phoenix. Lady Gaga. And yeah, man. Do you mind if I spoil some bits for you?
Fuck it, do it.
Because
I'm not probably going to watch it.
We have friends that I'm not going to name them now, but they have walked out of the cinema.
Ammo.
Not Ammo.
Fuck
it's not. Yeah. It's not Ammo, but he would do that.
He would do that. He would probably take a nap.
Yeah.
Unless
he's buzzing for it.
He slept through Flowers. What was that film?
Killers of a Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower. What a fucking film, and that guy slept through it.
Talking of sleeping through it, I promise you, this is not an exaggeration. I swear on my life. I swear on anything. The guy sitting next to me when I watched it, bro. By the way, I went to Everyman Cinema. I spent fucking £20 for this ticket
per person.
Wow. Right. I was looking forward to this movie since 2023.
Right.
Like earmarked, like I look ahead, like what's the banging movies that are going to come? There's been such a lack of cinema. This is the context that I've come to this movie with. Everyman Cinema. I really wanted to experience here. The guy sitting next to me was snoring. He was with his wife, right? They were a middle-aged couple. His wife nudged him a couple of times and he'd had that. The guy next to me was knockout because it was shit. Do you know what? There were 15 or 16 songs. It spanned about 44 minutes, right? Which is too much, right? Let's not
Bollywood movies from the 90s.
I only found out a week or two before I actually decided to go that it's a musical thriller. That's the actual classification for it. Now I understand the decision. That decision was of Warner Brothers. It wasn't Todd Phillips who actually directed it, and I think rumours are anyway that Todd Phillips and Warner Brothers had a bit of a clash over that, and I don't know if that resulted in Todd Phillips being like, well, fuck it then, I'll give you a subpar product. Or, they still went for a good product, because Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. And you know what? But the issue was in this film was the storyline. There was a lack of a storyline. They focused on Arthur Fleck's court case. They literally just went off, if you remember Joker 1, he did a lot of fuckery. He went on that late night show and he shot the presenter in the face, and this movie was all about reflecting on that. So there was a huge focus on not the Joker character, but on Arthur Fleck, of how he's coming to terms with, the public rising in their masses, loving the Joker figure, but he might have some remorse. He doesn't want the fame that comes with Joker. Harley Quinn, aka Lady Gaga, she just loves him for his character. There's a focus on mental health. Now, yeah, there have been a few people that have said, the movie's just misunderstood. That, it's a great reflection of how people deal with mental health. And I hear that point, but it's just understanding that. I think there were really some 9 out of 10 scenes in there. But it was just abruptly followed by them breaking out singing. Like Joaquin Phoenix, you don't want to hear him sing.
Why not? I think it works.
Amrit, don't give me that, man.
Okay, it may not
What do you mean by why not?
Okay, look, I genuinely like musicals. right?
What musicals do you like?
Okay, La La Land is a fucking amazing musical film. Have you watched La La Land?
Okay, what else?
Ryan Gosling and what's her name? Emma Stone.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And there was the one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Which one was that again?
A Star Is Born.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That was a brilliant film.
Right, I've watched neither.
By the way, you got to watch La La Land. That was nominated for an Oscar, and it was a musical.
Yeah.
And did it win? No, it was announced as a winner, but then they gave it to the next film, Moonlight, and there was a whole hoo-ha about it. But yeah, La La Land was an amazing musical.
Fine. I'll accept the point that musicals can be good. Not for me, but musicals can be good.
Yeah.
But then, let's come back to why should Joaquin Phoenix be singing? You can't see that.
No, you can't say Joaquin Phoenix shouldn't be singing. He could be very good in a musical. It's just that this musical, it didn't seem to be that great. Yeah, do you think Ryan Gosling can sing? It's not about whether he can sing or not, but you just make a good effort of it. There are people that do stage shows that are normally actors and not singers.
But it's not a stage show.
Yeah, I know it's not a stage show, but I'm just saying you can't say an actor can't sing.
I think you can credit someone for a live performance if you're in West End.
For example, Bradley Cooper sang in A Star Is Born as well, so you know it's not that bad. So you can't say an actor cannot sing when they technically can in a film.
I think you can if they've not got a good voice. And you do like, well, what is the point of music?
What is a good voice and what is not a good voice? Like, obviously, it's a film that they're making, and
generally singers have good voices.
No. Okay,
so I think that's why we have two genres.
Yeah, that's fine. But generally,
we don't need to mix them.
There's so much technology. They alter their voice to make it sound at least listenable, right? In that, if that is a word, right? So even though it may not,
so it's subpar. So it's average.
I want to say subpar.
So it's average.
Yeah.
Is that not my point?
No, but I'm just saying to you, but you shouldn't say an actor shouldn't sing because, you know,
it feels forced. Why are we forcing an art form which is completely different to acting, by the way?
You're not forcing it, but no, you're not forcing it. You're basically trying to expand your wings a bit, see what you can do, flex your muscles as an artist.
But then do that in the West End. Don't do that in a movie that's budgeted $450 million.
Yeah, but then if that's what they want to make, that's what they want to make.
But it's a wrong decision.
It is, in hindsight, it is. Of course it is. In hindsight, it's a very wrong decision. But would you say Ryan Gosling singing La La Land is a wrong decision, or Bradley Cooper singing A Star Is Born is a wrong decision?
I'll tell you why it's not in hindsight. Because the movie declined to have a screen test.
Yeah.
Right? And that's a big part of a movie process. It goes through screen testing.
Yeah, apparently that is, by the way.
That's not apparently, that's a thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they declined the screen test. And so that just shows the arrogance of the decision. Because no one in their right mind, right, is going to watch that and say it's a good product.
I don't know. So, I mean, I think in terms of critical reviews, it's been getting a mixture. So it has been getting positive reviews as well, as I understand. I've not watched the film, and I don't think I'm going to watch it. And not in cinema anyway.
But does that not say a lot? Because you were someone that was very excited to watch this movie.
I wasn't, because I haven't even watched the first Joker yet.
Oh, yeah, we did have this combo, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched them yet, so I wasn't excited. This movie has not been on my radar, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think you're the anomaly here, because it's been on the radar of like a lot of movie watchers. Like Joker is huge.
I get it. I get it.
I think it's a shame.
You really wanted to vent about fucking Joker, didn't you?
450 million budgeted,
and you wasted £40.
It's predicted to make 250 million, so it's going to have a loss of at least 200 million.
Oh, it's already like had a huge loss apparently. So I was reading the box office number, I was reading the box office number, it was in the news, but then apparently had the biggest fall for any film this year or ever, I think, apparently, because it opened really strongly, it being Joker 2, but then a lot of people walking out, and then, you know, word of mouth basically just gets out. It either makes the film or it breaks the film, and in this case, it broke the film, didn't it? So
broke the film, man. But do you know what? I've on Netflix actually, I've been watching a basketball documentary. It's called Starting Five. They focus on 5 players: LeBron, Jimmy Butler, and then Jason Tatum, a few emerging talents, right? And it's very well pieced together. I'm loving it currently. I actually think, I was reflecting on this, I think basketball documentaries might be the best form of sports documentaries.
Really? Sports documentaries are a bit difficult, man. The one that I recently watched, I not recently watched, but the last one I properly watched was probably the F1, but then I stopped it after like 2 or 3 seasons.
That's great, though.
Yeah, it was good.
You have to say that was great, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things that jumps out as one of the good sports documentaries. If you're thinking basketball documentaries,
I've not seen any of those. The
Last Dance.
I've not seen that either.
In my opinion, that's not just the greatest sports documentary. That's pushing top 10 documentaries. In my opinion, because I'm a fan of that. Right. And again, they've got a couple more. They've got the Redeem Team. They've got...
One of the best documentary I've seen is a Pakistani documentary. It's called The Good Shepherd. It's a very good documentary.
You spoke about this on a podcast before.
Have you? Have I?
You have, yeah.
It's an amazing documentary, man.
But I think
about 2006.
I think if you come Netflix and a basketball documentary, I think they're killing it. It's actually, I would genuinely say, starting 5, go and watch that. It's like a good watch. Mr. Young Philly, charged in Australia with rape. That is crazy.
Nuts.
So this story broke out a few days ago. It's got to the stage now where it's just meme after meme and like whatever. But obviously it's no laughing matter, the actual instance itself, because to be charged, right, means that there must have been a substantial amount of evidence. Obviously this is always speculation.
Yeah,
right?
so not substantial evidence in the sense that, you know,
but
there's reason to believe it's occurred.
Evidence.
Yeah. So there's reason to believe it has happened, you know, because you only get charged.
But that in itself is damning.
Yeah, it is. So there's reason to believe that he would have done it, I suppose, you know. So
no, I think to actually charge someone, I think there would have been a threshold.
Yeah, no, there is a threshold of evidence that needs to be crossed to be charged,
So
and
not just that, his bail conditions are quite restrictive
in the sense that he can't leave.
He's given his passport in. He has to report to a police station every 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, but I think that's just generally with any sort of like, even if he was charged with something. So it just depends on the seriousness of the offence. So because it's rape that he's being charged with.
Yeah.
So if it was something like, you know, so that's not necessarily because of the bail conditions. That doesn't indicate whether he's done it or not. It's just the offence he's been charged with is a very serious one.
Right.
So because of that, obviously the bail conditions that are going to be imposed on him are going to be a bit harsher because there's a flight risk.
So that's the starting point.
Yeah.
But then they can be foregoed by a judge when setting the bail conditions.
Yeah.
So there's obviously factors that have been taken into account at that point.
The factors that in this case wouldn't be necessarily the evidence against it, but it'd be more so like, what is he a flight risk? You know, what sort of sources are available for him to him to then escape from Australia, so to speak. So that's why, obviously, him being famous and rich and not actually being Australian, you know, the fact that he would have to hand his passport in is indicative that they want to keep him there.
And it's crazy because the alleged offence we're talking about was committed in Australia, so he will not only be charged there, which he already has been, he will be tried there, and he will be, and he will be sentenced there
if he gets a sentence, that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to keep an eye on that case. I mean, but
do you know what? That has sent the UK influencer scene into a bit of a meltdown. Like Chunk's got a lot of backlash off it. Now, I spoke to a lot of people about this, and a few people made the comment to me like, "Oh, how can Chunks be friends with someone like that?" I think that's a bit of an outrageous comment.
Yeah, it is, because you can't, you know,
you don't know.
You don't know. Like you could do anything tomorrow, and people are like, Amrit, have you?
Not me, mate. It won't be me, but it could be some of our friends. No names, but but it's true though. Like
it is. You can't hold somebody to the actions of another person. If I had directly been involved in that action, then it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But if I've just known you as a friend and you've not behaved in that, or you've not showcased that behavior in my presence, then really, you know, it's an argument to be like, you can't burn the people around you. You know, like the people that have been around.
Just to play devil's advocate, some people just say like, you know, you are very good friends with them. Like, you have spent so much time with them. Surely the signs were there. Could you not have just stepped in?
Okay, so look, to a degree, yes. So I'll give you an example of, like, I think, you know, if you look at Harvey Weinstein, for example, right? He's got his brother, Bob Weinstein. I'm not sure what his name is. But then there's a lot of, like, other big actors, like, you know, Ben Affleck and, you know, what's the other one? Ben Affleck's mate. Matt Damon. And all these, like, huge actors and even people that were closely associated with Harvey Weinstein, they knew what was going on. Like, they knew, apparently, like, Ben Affleck had made a comment when he was questioned about, you know, some person having been raped or sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein, and Ben Affleck apparently had made the comment saying, and this is apparently he'd said, "Oh, I told him to stop doing that." Right? Why the fuck's he still done it? I told him to stop doing that. So I think in those cases, you should be held accountable. Like, there's no way Harvey Weinstein's brother never knew what was going on in the company that he was running with his brother, where his brother and he were, like, absolutely supremos. Right? In that instance, I think the fact that his brother's kind of, like, got away with it scot-free, I think he must have known in that sense. But here, in the case of, like, you know, a normal friendship, I think it's different. Where you're part of a system where that abuse has taken place, then I think you should be held accountable. But if you're removed from that, then really
it's blurred lines. It's difficult.
Blurred lines, but then really,
Because I don't think it's that simple. I think you might see a sign here or there, but then how do you approach that person? Maybe you feel awkward approaching that person, but I think...
No, but I think if it's clear, if there is systemic abuse over decades, as it was in the case of Harvey Weinstein...
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
I'm talking
but,
about Chunks Philly or
okay,
something like that.
this is what I mean. So in that context, you may have heard a comment, you may have seen something, or like...
Yeah.
Not even seen something, but like perhaps something that's a bit unsavoury, but then it's not the case of being like proper abuse, but whereas if you look at the other end of the spectrum with the Harvey Weinstein and his brother and like the people that were closest to him at that point that enabled him to do all that stuff, that's different, I think, to what you would probably compare to
I agree with that. Yeah, just to close on that Philly thing, I mean, he had been on Soccer Aid, Great British Bake Off.
He had a couple of shows lined up, didn't he?
Obviously Beta Squad, right? And the thing is, in the BBC article that came out, Beta Squad was listed in the first sentence. So it's like, you know, but then...
apparently he had a show coming out with the FA, like in association with the FA, and with like Bukayo Saka and Ezra Konsa. They wanted to do like a cooking show, so that's been cancelled.
Yeah, he had a sauce with Heinz, which has been pulled back. He had a live show, a live podcast with Chunks they were going to do.
Apparently immediately after, which has been...
That's been cancelled.
Yeah,
straight cancelled. So, but it's crazy because a lot of posts have come out since that, because he was making racks, bro. He was making money. Like, I'm talking in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. There's been like people are saying there should be more of a vetting process for influencers.
How do you vet them? Like, at what point does an influencer become an influencer? Where do you like draw the threshold as like, okay, this person now needs to be vetted?
It's because the influencer scene has blown up in the last decade, and they're getting all this money. I suppose it's been difficult to, like, I don't know. Well, yeah.
How would you measure like this person now needs to be vetted, and what do you vet?
True, it's true.
You know,
that's true. And how do you do that for non-influencers, but more time celebrities anyway?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw a little video of Conor McGregor and Bukayo Saka playing around.
I saw that. You know what? Conor McGregor is single-handedly the most annoying person in the UK, I think.
You know, he's just like he's coked up, to the max.
Yeah, he is. But then honestly, like, I just wish he would fuck off, man.
No, there's one thing, he's entertaining.
He's not entertaining, he's annoying.
He's entertaining.
Like, have you seen that video of him eating the ear out fucking Ronaldo, and Ronaldo is just like, there.
Yeah.
And then he's just
Yeah. In Saudi, I think that was.
Yeah, apparently at a fight. But it's just annoying.
But basically, so
you know
saw
he
that
is?
video.
He's the version of that fucking Salt Bay man. You know how annoying Salt Bay was at the World Cup? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was just there, lurking.
Like, fuck off. Like, seriously. Messi could have not fucking told him to fuck off at that point, but he was just being too polite. Yeah. Like, he was just there. But that's what, like, Conor McGregor is right now, to that level, I think.
Right. But basically, if you saw that video, he was, like, play fighting with Saka. Saka obviously looked uncomfortable. It's like, you know, where you're just being polite for the sake of it. But at the same time, Arsenal were considering new match day protocols in an attempt to avoid a Conor McGregor type incident after the UFC fighter was filmed play fighting with Saka, and fans were worried it could have led to an injury. Yeah,
not only that, but I think, have they not banned him from Emirates?
Arsenal are moving different, bro.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
That is soft, though.
What, banning him?
Like, considering match day protocols to avoid a Conor McGregor type incident because fans are worried a player might be injured. He wasn't getting injured there, Bran. Come on. Get off it, man.
Listen, look.
Get off it.
If I was the fucking owner of that club, I would not want anyone near my players. I wouldn't want anybody fucking touching them.
But what about the positive PR that's coming from that link up?
What positive PR?
Any PR is positive PR.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think Arsenal needed, like, McGregor to bring spotlight on them. Arsenal about 52,000 times bigger than McGregor. So, you know, if anything, it was fucking McGregor gaining from that, not Arsenal.
But I think it's just a bit of a faff.
I think
the fact that there's protocols.
If I was running a football,
you can just picture it as you having a meeting.
Yeah, if I was Edu, bro, I would not let anybody fucking near my players, man. Have you seen in Europe? This is in England. They don't have it, but in Europe they have fucking like.
You do realize there are literally fully grown men with studs on their shoes trying to kick these players.
Yeah, but that's part of the sport. Like that's part of the game. But anything outside the game,
so they are honed to this sort of stuff. No, even though he's not trying to take him out, they are playing.
They're not honed to getting
they're playing.
Kicked or punched.
Do you understand he was playing?
Right?
Do you understand he was playing?
Yeah,
he wasn't actually trying to hurt him. But no, unlike men that are physically stronger than McGregor, bigger and heavier than him, running at speeds that are actually trying to hurt him.
I disagree with your argument.
Of course you disagree, because you're an idiot.
Listen, if I was Edu, I would not want any. If I owned a football club, I wouldn't want anybody going near my place.
I think if I'm on a board of a football club and that comes, like we're sitting on a boardroom now, Edu comes in and be like, oh, do you know what? This is very serious, could have led to an injury. I'll be like, Edu, there's the door, mate.
No, I'd be like,
you've got transfers to deal with, just stick to that, buddy.
Right. Okay. No, I would obviously ban McGregor first. And
no, of course you would.
And I would put in protocols so that nobody gets near my players.
You would, because this is the sort of work that you like to do.
Right.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Did you see...
But nobody's coming near my players.
Did you see Maggie Smith, man? Rest in peace.
Oh, I saw that. I'm so saddened by it. I genuinely really, really liked her.
That's now Maggie Smith. That's now McGonagall, Dumbledore and Hagrid.
Hagrid passed away too.
That was a few months ago. I think that was after Dumbledore. Might be wrong, but
the first Dumbledore, not Ian McKellen. Oh no, Ian McKellen, he passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, Dumbledore. Fuck.
Yeah, no. The first Dumbledore passed away years back, actually, and then they got Ian McKellen. I really miss Ian McKellen already. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. But Maggie Smith, man.
Are you sure Ian McKellen's passed away? He had a fall. I know he had a fall, but he's not passed away. We sound so stupid on the podcast.
We sound
unsure if somebody's passed away or not. How can you not take so long? Do you know how to spell Ian McKellen?
I don't think he's passed away.
Yeah, he had a fall.
Because that's Gandalf, you dickhead.
Yeah.
That's not Dumbledore, you twat.
Who was Dumbledore then? It was Ian McKellen.
No, it wasn't Ian McKellen. You can't be Gandalf and Dumbledore.
Geezer, why are you so fucking slow?
Michael Gambon.
Michael
Gambon.
Right. I was thinking Ian McKellen's not passed away. What the fuck? I read an article.
So basically, I didn't sound dumb. You brought up something confusing and made the whole situation dumb.
You said he's passed away when I said Ian McKellen. You're like, and I was like, oh, I miss Ian McKellen already.
What's his name?
Listen, you need to edit this bit out where I said I miss Ian McKellen already. It's not passed away.
I'm not going to edit that. Fuck that. I'm telling you now, I'm not editing that.
No, but Ian McKellen, I read an article a few weeks back. He had a fall while he was performing, and apparently people were really concerned about him. So I was just thinking, Ian McKellen didn't pass away. But yeah, Maggie Smith, man, I really feel sad about
What a legend. Because you know what? People don't realise.
She's been going for like fucking centuries, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And she sort of like
Was she made a dame?
Revitalised her career. Huh?
Was she made a dame ever?
No, I don't think so. Don't quote me on that.
She must have had some sort of MBE, OBE, 100%, but I don't know if she was made a dame.
Yeah, she was Wasn't she a Bond girl at one point?
Yeah, I think so. Back in like the 60s, apparently, I think.
She's killed it.
60s or 50s or maybe 70s, I don't know.
60s, I think.
Yeah. And her other big role, she did some good films, man. I liked watching it. Obviously, she was amazing in Downton Abbey. She was absolutely the best that she fucking has been in Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Downton Abbey?
Yeah, Downton Abbey was brilliant. I loved it.
I rewatched it a few months back.
I did rewatch it at one point.
Yeah.
It's one of them.
It's one of them.
But not more than twice.
Yeah. Probably in about 10 years' time.
I reckon, yeah, I would with my kids, maybe.
Yeah. I think it's one of those shows.
Culture them, give them a bit of culture.
No, Downton Abbey is not culture, is it?
Yeah, it's culture.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's history, mate. You can't refute it.
It's a fictional town with a fictional house.
Based on historical nuances.
Right. Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
One other person who I think we should mention who passed away, Ratan Tata, man. Like, you don't know much about him, but he was genuinely, like, if there was ever a conscionable sort of like billionaire, he was it, man.
Right.
Like,
Talk to us, man. Talk to us.
He's a guy who basically, there's been a few personal tragedies in his life as well. So just the way he lived his life that endeared him, like millions of people to him, like myself anyway.
But why? What was it that brought you to him? Because you have spoke about him, but I don't understand why. So explain that.
So if you think about like his work essentially, so he's obviously, born into a very, very, like probably the richest family in India. This has been for like years and years and years, centuries, decades, right? Yeah. He was born into a very rich family, right? Born with a silver spoon. He has a brother who's younger than him. I mean, I think apparently he was about 7 or 8 when his parents divorced. So he was raised by his grandmother in, again, as I said, a very influential family, the Tata family. He then went away to America, started studying, got a degree, came back, got a degree in architecture, and then he started basically on the shop floor with Tata. worked sort of like for about 30 years. And in 1992 or early 90s, he was made the CEO, and like basically he took over the whole company at that point. And at that point, Tata was huge in India, so it was the biggest company, or one of the biggest companies in India. But what he did with it was made it global to the company that we see it is in the space of about 20 years. He bought like brands like Tetley Tea, for example, right? So Tetley is owned by India. I didn't know that. He bought that for like 430 million or US dollars, something like that was one of his first acquisitions.
Jaguar owned by?
Yeah, so Land Rover Jaguar. So both Jaguar and Land Rover are owned by Tata as well. There was Tata Steels. That was the one.
Steel.
Yeah, so Tata Steels
became Chorus.
Yeah, so Chorus became
Tata.
Yeah. But then apparently, like, that's the one project that he had, like one sort of acquisition he had, which ultimately made him a big loss. But a lot of people, even in the UK, you've got to credit him for like putting up the UK economy or the British economy, because the losses that he suffered with like Tata Steel, and despite those losses, he carried on and he made sure the people had jobs in those areas. So, you know, you've got to respect him. So he kept on taking huge loss after huge loss, especially after 2008, you know, when the markets had crashed. So yeah, he's been a huge influential figure. But then also, away from that professional aspect of his life, his personal life, there was apparently like, he was in a relationship, I believe, with a Chinese girl, right? Okay, yeah. And at that time, there was a lot of like Indo-China war going on, and there was a lot of hostility. So they couldn't marry basically, but then he never married anybody else. He remained a bachelor throughout his whole life, basically remained loyal to that one girl that he had loved and he couldn't obviously attain. And then not only that, but he was very close. He had so many like charities that he did, and he was very close to dogs. Like, you know, so Taj Mahal is owned by the Tata Group as well.
Oh, really?
You know, the Taj Hotel. Sorry, not Taj Mahal. Sorry, the Taj Hotel. My bad. The Taj Hotel in Mumbai. You know, the biggest hotel in India.
Taj Hotel, yeah. One
of the biggest hotels in the world. Right? If you go, you'll find like
there's a film on that hotel, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Dev Patel.
Yeah, because the attacks, you know, following, and he had a huge part in, you know, recovering. He put a lot of his personal wealth to restore the hotel. But not only that, anybody that was killed and also like injured as part of that, he basically took care of their families. And even like going back the way his businesses were being dealt with, Tata have always been known as the most ethical business there is in India, because basically even where they've had to lay off staff, for example, to cut costs. There was one instance apparently where he had to cut a huge chunk of staff off, but he basically kept paying them wages for the rest of their lives despite cutting them off. So, you know, he wasn't like a cutthroat sort of leader, you know, especially when it came to looking after his own people that worked for him. And not only that, but he he invested in like over 50 startups, giving young people a chance in the recent years. And yeah, the fucking list is endless, bro.
Fair play, man.
List is endless, and he was very close to dogs, and he always ensured
very close to dogs.
Yeah, he was very close to dogs.
I don't think that's something that we need to add onto the list.
No, why not? You know, like in the Taj Hotel, so you know, he instructed them to say like you can't shoo away stray dogs. If they come in, and you have to treat them with respect. So you'll find stray dogs sleeping about the Taj Hotel everywhere because nobody disturbs them. Like that was direct orders from him. So he was a huge man, I think. You know, like and people. It's a bit of a tragedy that they don't really know him that well in the UK, especially Indians in the UK.
The election in the US is very soon.
It is
5th of November. Remember.
But then, yeah, so for the largest part of it, Kamala Harris was like leading it, but now apparently Trump is making a bit of a comeback.
I tell you what, right?
It's a showdown.
I tell you what, right? Both candidates have done sort of cool kid podcasts, right? Kamala went on to Call Her Daddy podcast. Which is the #1 podcast for females, right? In terms of listeners.
Yo, I'm a bit surprised about Flagrant. What you're going to get onto?
Flagrant,
yeah.
So, but the thing is, Trump has not only done Flagrant, which I watched, by the way, and I'll come on to that, but he also went on a podcast with Logan Paul, and he also went on a podcast with Aiden Ross. Was it Aiden Ross? He did a stream with Aiden Ross, and then he's done a podcast. Can't remember what other podcast he did. There's one more, can't remember now. But he's essentially done 3 cool kid podcasts. I watched Flagrant. And you know what? Regardless of what you believe he stands for, etc., if you watch that episode, it's hard to turn it off because he has an infectious, fun personality.
Yeah, no.
You can't very infectious, fun personality. And it's like, he
that doesn't
is
make you a good leader, though.
An entertainer.
Yeah, he's an entertainer, no doubt. Nobody disputed his entertaining qualities.
But do you know what it is though? He talks about being in the same room and conversations he's had with Putin. He talks about conversations he's had with Modi, and he gives because he's not a politician by trade. He's a businessman. He doesn't give a fuck. Right?
Yeah,
but these politicians...
That's not really...
No. But the thing is, Kamala, if you look at Kamala, she went on Call Her Daddy. That wasn't like a flagrant an hour and a half, 2 hours, just non-edited. Literally, you see what you get. And you can't fake being someone for an hour and a half.
No, that's fine.
Right? But Kamala hasn't given that to the people.
Right. Did you watch the Kamala one?
I've watched the Kamala one because it's edited and it's around 40 minutes.
Right, okay.
You can't get... And she was very, like...
no, I get that.
But wait, let me finish.
But 1 second.
No, what?
So, no,
but wait, let me finish. The point is, politicians in their nature do not reveal their true selves. So why are we more trusting in those candidates? And then we're always complaining, whether it be in the UK, whether it be in the US, you can't trust a fucking politician. It's the same cycle, it's the same shit.
So you think Trump's revealed himself?
No, but Trump made some good points. He said under his leadership, there were no wars. Right? He said Israel, the situation now with Palestine, wouldn't be happening.
It would have been happening.
No.
If Hamas had attacked Israel like it did, you're telling me Israel wouldn't have fucking gone back?
You're telling me he's not in the room in leaders and he can't get on the phone and speak to people. What he gives is a threat of sanctions via money. Right? And so he talks about this in the podcast as well.
Can I just say one thing?
This is information we don't get from other leaders.
There has not been another president or US politician that hasn't backed Israel more than fucking Joe Biden, right? So if they were not willing to listen to Joe Biden, what makes you think they would have listened to Trump?
But he doesn't rate Biden, and he's saying Biden's done a bad job.
No.
That's
of course, Biden.
Exactly what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying.
So him asserting that he would have done a better job and stopped a war is absolute bollocks. Because
it's not absolute bollocks because under his tenure there were no wars.
But that's just the way. Like Hamas didn't attack under his tenure, did they?
But how many of these Hamas type situations would he have dealt with?
How?
That's the point. He says there's so many of these situations that are bubbling all the time.
Listen, 1 second. I'll tell you one thing, my friend. Okay, yeah.
No. Your hatred of someone
not war.
always convinces you that your point is the only point.
No, it's not my hatred or convincing. You're basically taking... There've been 2 wars, okay, yeah, that people have given a shit about, okay, yeah. Mainly the Ukraine war, because it's white people, right? Let's be real. The second one, obviously, is now Israel-Palestine because of how huge a conflict it already is. Right. But you're telling me that while Trump was president, there was no wars in the world. Of course there was. There was conflict everywhere in the world.
No, but we're talking on a scale that's affecting us and our economy now.
Okay. But then listen.
Yeah.
On that scale, you're telling me, like, okay, what would he have done? He was in Putin's left pocket, mate. He could have not stopped Putin attacking when Putin decided to attack. He could not have done it. You don't understand the geopolitics. You know, it's very good looking. Oh, Trump saying I did this and I did this. You're hearing it from a Trump perspective. It's very, very easy to kind of get wrapped up in his word and be like, oh yeah, he's a strong leader, but he was in Putin's left pocket, mate.
But how do you know that? Well, explain to me why he was in his left pocket.
Because Putin at that moment was stronger than Trump. You could even just from...
Like, so why does that mean he was in his pocket?
Because essentially, apparently, and this is something that's been investigated, and this was put together by intelligence services, that Putin had a lot of dirt on him. He had a lot of he apparently had like a dossier on basically Trump, and that's why he was trying to influence the American elections to bring Trump into the presidency, right? So I would say it's a fact, because essentially, you know, even though people are disputing, you're crying wolf and all that stuff, but that was true. The Russians have been interfering with elections in the US trying to bring at least Trump in, because Trump they see as a fucking phony who they can control like a puppet, and that is true.
But what so tells you that Biden's stronger than Trump?
I'm not saying I'm not saying Biden is stronger in that sense, but what I'm trying to tell you, this assertion that Trump is making and you're spewing out here, that's saying,
but I go off what I can hear,
bruv,
right? You're going off assertions and whatnot.
No, I'm not. Right? No, you're going off by what you hear from Trump. Right,
which granted could be biased, but
you're not looking at the evidence of things. The evidence.
Nor are you.
I'm looking. If you try and get an understanding of the geopolitics that are happening right now in that area, in that region. Okay, yeah. For example, Putin has been essentially systemically breaking down Russia. He's come to a point now. Like Putin, for example, is a leader who will only essentially stop being the leader of Russia when he dies. He is in that presidency until he dies because he's so deeply rooted within Russia.
I think what you do is...
And the securities, right?
You spew non-relevant facts to try and make sense.
No. Okay. It's not non-relevant.
It is non-relevant.
Putin
it's irrelevant.
has been unhinged for the last about 5-6 years, especially after COVID. He sort of went in, right? Came to the point where he was getting paranoid, and that's why he fucking invaded Ukraine. Nobody in their right mind.
All right, I'll tell you what.
So you're not telling.
So what you're telling our listeners now, right, is that we shouldn't listen to what Trump's saying because it's completely biased, but we should listen to Amrit because Amrit believes that that Putin was increasingly paranoid and he would have declared the war anyway. So we will listen to Amrit.
So I think it's absolute bollocks to say that Trump would have stopped Putin. Absolutely not. Putin has Trump in his fucking left pocket, right? He does.
That's your view.
That's my view. That's also the view of a lot of accredited,
regardless,
independent journalists.
I'm not saying that Trump is right in what he's saying. Mm-hmm. I'm saying he, by going on these podcasts and being himself, is actually relating to people more.
Himself.
He's being himself. You're saying he's not being himself. I thought we'd agreed that he was being himself.
But you like that him.
What do you mean?
You like his self as he is.
What, as an entertainer?
Right, as an entertainer. But do you think entertainers should be presidents?
What? You just asked me 4 questions. Which one do you want the answer to?
Well, that one. Do you think entertainers should be presidents?
Okay. Now, going back to what I've already said, I much prefer seeing someone who is being themselves, right? And again, in that podcast, he speaks about how he would be in meetings, he would be active, he would speak to this person, how you need to deal with people, you need to deal with personalities. And he is very... You watch that episode, you know he is smart. And
there are
can you let me finish?
There are literally accounts of him.
Let me finish? Because I'm talking off my experience. You're talking off just stuff you read in articles.
Okay.
Right? If you watch that podcast, you can tell he is very smart and switched on. There is no denying that.
Were you in the room with him?
I felt like I was in the room with him watching that. Yeah.
When there are literally accounts of him not reading anything or not being prepared.
Is that not what a podcast is about?
No. But
what do you mean? So you're telling me my experience is bullshit?
So you're telling me my experience is bullshit because I've read it somewhere. So how is you looking at a podcast about Donald Trump from Donald Trump believe that more than an independent journalist who would have done research and who would have spoken to people around Donald Trump who would have provided you with a clearer picture of what's actually happening?
Right. Because we're not talking about other people's opinions. I'm talking about my opinion.
Okay.
What you're doing is talking about other people's opinions. I'm talking about my opinion.
So I should basically accept something as fact because you're saying it.
I never said it was fact.
Right? Okay.
Never said it was fact. You don't let someone finish, so you just try and make it out that you're right.
Right, no, go on.
But that's fine. Like I said, you can talk about other people's opinions. I can give you my perspective of what I saw.
Right.
Watching someone for an hour and a half, like I said, no one can fake that. He was himself. I inferred from that he is a very smart individual. Very clued on, right? You cannot deny that. But at least you get to see the real him.
Yeah, right? I've got a couple of comments about that, but carry on.
Right. With Kamala, like I'd said, we're going around in circles because you don't actually listen to the point being made. You start going on a tangent. With Kamala, it was an edited 40-minute episode. I.e., the nature of a politician is to put on a front. And like I said, we always complain about everything going to shit. Well, maybe we need some authentic people. I would believe in authenticity more than someone who puts on a front.
Right, okay, that's great. I understand that. But here is the person who is being authentic, supposedly being authentic.
What do you mean by supposedly?
He's the biggest fucking phony there is.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Can we not agree on the fact that if you watch someone for an hour and a half, are you saying you can fake being someone for an hour and a half straight?
No, but what I'm trying to say to you...
Answer that question, Amrit.
Okay, so answer that question. No. Of course you can.
Well, then let's just agree to disagree.
Okay, that's fine.
But
he's literally the biggest fucking phony there is, and you're convinced by him because he spoke to you, and you fucking heard him speak for an hour and a half.
I'm not convinced by him.
So if you would have fucking heard Hitler speak for 2 hours, Hitler used to fucking do speeches that went on 10 hours, bruv. You would have been convinced by Hitler.
What do you mean?
So you would have been like Hitler's himself, you know. He's really putting it out there.
I think there's a difference between being able to watch something for propaganda. So you're saying I've not got a rational mind?
No, I'm just saying. Listen,
I'm not able to deduce
information. It's a slippery slope you're going down here. You know, I heard Trump speak for an hour and a half, and I thought he was really honest, and I thought he was very authentic.
Fine. You keep believing in people that don't want to show their truth. Also,
okay. I probably will.
Yeah, and you'll keep complaining about politics.
And you think if Trump is...
And you'll be in the same cycle, like a hamster on a wheel, Keep going, buddy.
Okay, buddy.
You keep reading those articles, though. Keep reading those articles, though.
You keep...
Have fun with that.
Yeah, you have fun with Trump, mate.
I will have fun.
Yeah.
I will. We will be there.
Right.
It will be great again.
Yeah. Fucking Boris voting cunt.
And cannot confirm or deny that.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't need you to. Don't give a fuck.
You vote for people that aren't even around.
Okay.
You went to the ballot box and you put in Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
He's not there anymore, buddy.
Yeah. The greatest leader that we could have had.
Yeah, he's not there, buddy.
Yeah,
you can stop sucking him off now.
No, I will never stop.
You should, though.
No.
You should.
I don't think I will.
Right. I think the podcast has got to the point where Amrit has once again...
We got to the point where
Amrit
we realized...
has once again taken emotion over logic.
Right. It's got
he
to
wants
the point...
to refute someone's experience of actually watching something over... rather
listen,
than cite other people's opinions.
I hope you don't come across any video. I hope you don't come across Mein Kampf or,
I've read Mein Kampf.
Oh, I'm sure.
I've read Mein Kampf.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get fucking swayed by it, mate.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you don't come across any Hitler speeches. You'd be fucking taken in by them.
I've come across a few of them. I've watched a lot of documentaries. I actually went to school. It's a heavy part of our curriculum.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're a Trump voter, mate.
I might finish that.
I cannot believe it.
I believe in Trump more than Kamala. Yeah, I'll say that.
Wow.
You believe in Kamala more than Trump?
100%.
Based on what? Based on what, though? Take out the articles and other people's opinions. You tell me, what is your actual experience of that?
Based on the fact that Trump is a fucking terrible
Exactly. President. Emotion, you have immediately... Based off what you know...
What you're calling your thing is a logic.
So no. So you don't actually like Kamala, you just don't like Trump?
More, yeah.
Right, there you go. Which is why people shouldn't listen to you, because you're full of shit.
Right.
What you always do is you take an opinion of someone and you ride to the end of day with it. Because that's
of someone.
Your opinion is often...
So if I've read about 200 things about one person, right?
You formed an opinion about AP Dillon off a video, right?
Yeah. Of many videos.
Okay.
And AP Dillon...
Don't watch videos, mate. Don't watch videos, mate. No, don't watch videos, mate.
Is AP Dillon coming out across like a great personality since?
Yeah. What do you mean?
AP Dillon, like, what do you think, like... What was the recent incident where we said about AP Dillon? There was something with the AP Dillon app.
No, that was Karnojla.
Right? Okay.
It wasn't AP Dillon.
Alright. But he's still a fake. You know?
Yeah. But that's what I mean. No, you're obviously... It's fine for you to judge off videos, but it's fine. I won't do it because what I do is stupid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's
absolutely.
That's fine.
I'm glad that you understood that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm glad I remembered it because I just wanted to show your hypocritical nature.
Right.
But yeah, thanks for tuning into this episode because unfortunately we can't carry this on any longer because Amrit's ruined it. But see you for the next one.